manscaping.
What if it was a complete utter manscaping, like a sort of a total Brazilian? Actually, we don't have anybody from Brazil here anymore that would get that. But
No.
and then I just oil myself from head to toe. How about that?
You know, there's just certain images. You don't need to
And then on the plus side, if I'm ever being pursued by, say, police or authorities and they try to catch me, I would just slip out of their hands. You know? So there's a plus side with that. There's always, you gotta look for the good in things. I do. I was talking about, as I was leaving today, someone asked me, they said to me, hey, I don't know if you're going to talk about this on your show, but I want to know, why would someone join the Taliban? Why would an American leave and join an organization like that?
You know, off the top, what I would say, hey, by the way, we have a nick in my table. Who's responsible for that? Who do I
nick?
need to beat up? Yeah,
That is a nick.
Not a scratch. I mean,
That's a nick.
Man, that's a nick.
Well, maybe while at night people do things.
There's people on this table.
Maybe.
The movie intro woman that does her little thing was on this table with a baseball bat the other day.
Movie intro. Who's the movie intro?
It's late night. We play these old movies.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
5 a.m. or whatever.
Who is the movie intro lady?
Kristen is her name, and she's
like an Elvira character.
Not quite. Don't
Okay.
wish, but
No. Because I like that Elvira. She had a lot of wardrobe malfunctions. I don't know if you know this. There are because there are actually clips of wardrobe malfunctions, bloopers.
I mean, the microphones just
What are people doing? Eating these microphones or what?
No,
What
they
do
just
do?
leave them on the ground.
You know, people walk on them. I mean,
I put mine right here because I think that's what that's there for.
It's over, you know?
And what about that Cruise guy? You know
what?
I'm thinking I want to go on his show
I'm
and
in big trouble with the cruise, and I've got to call. I got to talk with him, meet with him, and I want you to come as sort of like.
I want to ask
like
him
a
questions
security.
about young Earth creationism with him. That's what I want to ask. I want him to answer ask him if I could come on and ask him young Earth creation questions.
I can send him a video.
Of me, and I could be like in disguise. I could be wearing a sombrero and then like a monocle, and have can of Cheese Whiz in one hand, and just sort of ask him the questions, and I could have like a Viennese accent, be very fake, Scottish brogue maybe.
You wouldn't know.
He wouldn't, because I want to ask him some questions.
I'm in trouble with the cruise.
Why?
Well,
Is that why
I have,
he's? He
due
probably
to my
nicked your
level
table.
Of, stress and so forth. That's what I'm going to blame it on anyway. I was supposed to talk with him last week.
That's right. We talked about it, and you didn't.
I didn't. A
Okay.
whole week went by, and I haven't.
you didn't talk to him.
I've got to grovel. I got to call up.
How about tell him, say, look, that I have an idea for one of his shows. I want to ask him about challenging the age of the universe from a young creationist perspective, and I wonder if he can answer those questions. Ask him.
I think you've got a plan here, don't you?
Ask him.
Because he's a church member.
Well, there could be
And
an
so
experiment
we just,
in there somewhere.
He plays the piano at the church.
He plays piano at the church?
Yes. And,
Does he?
and he is a.
I got kicked out of it's not called church, a Mormon hall, right? It's called a hall, I don't think Mormons have. I was at a Mormon with a friend of mine who was converting to Mormonism, and another friend of mine went there, and while we were waiting on my friend, my other friend got up on the piano and started playing
Lewis.
I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill, da-na-na-na-na-na, and they heard it, and they literally kicked us out. They said, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
But he goes, I found my da-da-da-da-da-da, and he was playing,
No dancing, no music.
Well, I just think that song, if he'd been playing, like Onward Christian Soldiers, dun, 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 dun,
Exactly.
dun.
Yeah, he would have been.
Actually, a new band. Ever heard of the band Gore Guts?
No. Who has? No one has. You're making that up.
You go listen to some Gorguts.
I will not. I will not believe that for one second.
And I'll tell you what I've been listening to a lot of.
Any of these terms or bands that you hear, I want you to look them up on your iPad. And see if they exist.
Gorguts. They have a new.
Gorguts.
They have a new album out. They're really good. Gorguts.
They're really good.
They're really.
You and who else is saying that?
They're-
Really, you gotta listen to this new album, Gorguts.
Gorguts are good. Actually, also I've been listening to a lot of Fugazi bootlegs, a couple of Joy Division bootlegs, and the
Joy Division.
Bob Dylan bootleg box. And I saw.
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw
you
a
bought
concert
that.
on
You bought
Monday.
that.
I went to Atlanta and I saw the National. I saw the Frightened Rabbit open for them, and then I saw the. Anybody in here like the National?
I think I've heard something
Yeah,
on one
it was actually
show
a really
somewhere.
good show. And
right,
I will
very
be
cool.
seeing Neutral Milk Hotel soon. And if all
No,
goes
hold
well,
on, you're going too fast. Neutral Milk Hotel.
everybody knows those guys,
Oh,
right?
of course they do.
I've heard of
Oh,
Hey,
look,
sir,
that
hey,
is,
sir.
the
I'll be
Kuster's,
seeing
he's kind of he's a semi-hipster. He knows this stuff.
They're actually from Athens, Georgia.
Oh, okay, well that's cool. That's cool. What about your guy Morrissey? Has he insulted anybody and been in a
He's-
fight lately?
Well,
What's his deal?
He insulted the guys from that. What's that Duck Dynasty? He insulted
Oh,
those
yeah,
guys.
yeah. I don't
He
know,
said-
but yeah.
You know, because they were meat eaters. He didn't like them. And he's
Serial
no longer
killer,
touring.
meat killer.
And but I am seeing his favorite band. With all luck, one of his favorite bands is a band called Sparks. I'll be seeing them, I think, in Atlanta soon.
Okay. Okay. All right, so our topic today, because we can deal with whatever.
How about
But,
that Taliban thing? How about the idea of why someone would want to invest themselves in we call it an ideological system that in some way sort of that completely subverts their individuality, a way of being sort of subsumed within. Why would someone embrace?
Yeah,
and are
it's
there
a need to.
levels of ideological
It's some kind of social
And maybe-
need, group need that they have to
From
be
the
a
right
part of something
perspective,
with
are
a belief.
we in a quote Taliban? Would someone say? look,
Okay, I have to put this out on. Okay.
Okay,
And
man,
people in the Columbus area have phones. They will call. Okay.
see, that's the thing,
Remember,
let's-
part of your audience
let's
is this
stir up-
old white men out there
Let's stir it up. I'll be like the Glenn Beck
with
of
guns,
of the
God
whatever I
and
am.
glory or something on
Glenn
the pickup
Beck.
truck.
That guy
and
wears
everything.
the guy's clothing is not good. Ever seen that guy?
Yeah, I'd say. Well, not
He's also
lately, not in the
crying
last
all the
couple of
time.
years.
Why is he crying all the
He
time?
cries because he feels passion. He's
does?
just he's a clown and he doesn't know what else to do. Basically,
Maybe that's.
where it's at right there. But yeah,
How about-
do not say we're all members of the time. No, do not go
What
down
about-
that
but
road.
there are- we're
Thank you.
all in
I know
com-
your point, but no.
We're all
Yeah.
enmeshed within some ideological system, though, and if from a sort of a naive constructivist position, they're all the same. Something happened.
Yeah, cute. He's plugging, unplugging.
So we're all sort of enmeshed in ideological systems that may blind us to certain things. So maybe there are different levels of astigmatism, and that the
So you
Taliban.
could, but see, you could take this into the whole religion thing
Yeah.
and get us all
That's
in.
what Cruz is. That's what I want to go into Cruz.
Oh,
I'm beginning with
oh.
the young Earth creationism, but I want to get a sense
I've
of
got
how
to
he,
reach out to him, and
I want
I've
to see how
got to
he
make.
navigates his religion,
I
or
gotta
his
grovel.
spiritual beliefs.
I'm going to grovel. That's where I'm going. I'm thinking, I don't know what that is actually, but I'm going to grovel. And then I'm going to get him back in here.
You know, I bet he's a Gorguts fan. You look at that guy, Gorguts.
I don't, what, is it headbanging? What do we
This
got?
is
Heavy
death metal. This is not black metal. This is death metal.
It's not black metal. I'm glad you.
There's a difference.
That's,
The that I got is that they're from hell.
Okay, there you go. That's a good way of thinking about it.
see, all right, do you realize
Lovely folk from hell.
this is Columbus, Georgia?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some Gorguts
Bible Belt.
fans. You know, the
There's
hippest
two
T-shirts
words.
you can have are death metal and black metal T-shirts. There's some really, and I've been. I don't know
Yeah,
if you,
yeah.
You
They
like
do make some.
cosmic horror? I've been reading some
kind of-
cosmic horror short stories. You like that? Anybody for the cosmic horror? Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, no, I don't go.
You
No.
don't know
I
that?
know of, but no. I
H.P.
don't-
Lovecraft.
No. Sci-fi in various ways, but
Shel
not in-
Silverstein. Was there? There you got that, didn't you? No.
I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. Daniel, help me.
Shells. We could
just
talk
keep
about
your finger
cosmic
on the-
horror too. We could talk about we could talk about Gorguts, cosmic horror.
No, we can't. That's not a conversation. That's nothing I can participate in. I'm going to have to be a part
I'm
of
going to write a
this
paper,
somehow.
I think, I have to
my
come up with a
God.
proposal before the end of this month, but for the Zizek conference on cosmic horror, I was going to it's a cultural studies thing, and so I was going to look at cosmic horror. Why would someone be drawn to cosmic horror? You have to define the parameters, the certain aesthetic parameters of cosmic horror, and then why certain people be drawn to it. Like people Gorguts. Why people like the Gorguts?
Right. I want to hear just a few bars. Just
I
a
bet,
couple of, just a,
I bet the Quickster
right before the
knows
bridge. I want to
uh,
hear some music on
There
that.
really isn't a bridge.
There is no bridge.
Yeah, there's no bridge.
Hello, James Brown. Take me to the bridge. You can't go there.
There's just a
Gorguts.
lot of flowing water you can't get across. There's no bridge. You
There's
gotta
just
watch
like,
that.
yeah, guitars in front of the amps.
It is,
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite bands,
Feedback.
Forest. You like those? They're
Who?
like they're a noise band, drone band, where they do a lot of feedback. Also, Sun O, they do a lot of like that feedback thing.
You are a walking encyclopedia of these weird far out. And,
Yeah. I like those.
They're
But the
good. There's a lot
National
of
was
them.
good. I like the National. They were good. They were like, they were really good. I was surprised because it's a little dad rocky, you know? Kind of a dad rock vibe.
I'm trying to think. I think I may have seen them. They
Yacht
may have
rock.
been
You
on
like yacht rock? That's a
Colbert
big
or
thing. A
so,
lot
or
of the
one of
hipster
those.
folks ironically listen to yacht rock.
Yacht rock.
Yacht rock. You know what yacht rock is?
No.
What's that guy's that song? Certain Beach Boys songs. That's what's his name? The Sail Away guy. What's that guy? Christopher Cross.
Yes. Yes.
It's these sort of faux tropical sort of songs that Jimmy Buffett could technically be within some yacht rocky kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I'm gonna sail away on my boat. Certain Crosby, Stills, and Nash songs I think would might qualify as yacht rocky. Definitely not the Gorgon.
Dan, on that dissolve, can you lengthen the time of dissolve from the intro to camera 3? That's typically what I do when I'm editing it, and it just looked like it cuts really short. So if there's a way to increase the time, maybe it looked consistent a little bit. Yeah, 6 p.m. every night. You
6
are
p.m.
there, my friend, talking,
6 p.m.
talking and gawking. You're making it happen.
I am, and I think. Oh, wait, we going?
No, not yet. Daniel's he's practicing. But we're about to, and I have no idea what we're about to talk about.
That's a lot of black space. That's like
That's
dead air.
yeah,
in,
that's yeah.
That's like dead air in radio, right?
You may have to cut before the end of that, right?
You know, I don't
you
think
gotta find a spot.
some people have a face
or
for radio.
take the slider and do the out on it and drag the DDR before
So
it
you
goes
have
to black.
a face for radio.
Yes, I've heard that.
I think I have a soul for radio.
Wow.
That's what I think.
What would I do with that?
I don't know.
How do I respond
Is it
so that
always
you
this
may?
bright in here? Or is that just me?
I think I did kind of
Is it always
bump
like
up
this?
the lighting.
There's
a
usually
little
like
bit more.
50 people in here, like from like different countries. Like there's like this is like an international. Where's everybody at? Why is no like there's like some guy from.
You couldn't walk in here yesterday. You could not
There's
get
like
through.
some guy from Mumbai. Like there's a
it
guy
is-
from like There's probably somebody from Finland. I hate the Finns. Finnish bastards.
Well, yeah. I'm glad we
But,
don't have any of those.
just
But now
saying.
we do have Kenyans and Nigerians
There
in
you go.
here.
I like
yeah.
the wonderful folk, those guys.
They
I
are.
like,
They are great
Some of my
folks.
best friends are Kenyans.
And by the way, we're going to do the new show, and it's coming up. It is called The Nigerian Prince. Remember the guy in the emails from the 80s and 90s where he said, look, I'm the
I remember that
nephew
guy. I
of the
sent
guy.
a lot of money to that guy.
I
He's
put
okay.
a lot of my
That
bank
guy, I
account
bailed that
numbers.
guy out.
Well, we have him here in the studio, and he's going to do his own show, and he starts out by saying, I know you may have a lot of questions. And that's how it starts. And each week, somebody comes in asking for their money back.
Really?
Yeah. That's how it's
I
gonna
like
go.
that. I like
yeah,
that.
I think it's a show.
I can see that. You could have a Gorguts playing in the background.
Yeah, Gorguts.
Gorguts. Actually,
Daniel
go
is a
on.
one-man recording studio.
He is. Go
He is.
online. The Needle Drop, which is Daniel Fantano, the world's busiest nerd, music nerd. He reviewed the latest Gorguts album and
Okay.
gave it. He loved this thing.
He loved it.
So Anthony Fantano, the Needle Drop, world's busiest internet nerd, music
Okay,
nerd.
got it. All right, we're
He
gonna
gives a
put
review.
that. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go out and do that.
And that Dylan box set's good. I like that Dylan box set.
Because it's how long of a time span is the box set? Is it from the beginning
69 to 70. It's not a long time span.
Oh, okay. He did a lot of work in that 69.
Oh, this
there,
is the
didn't
10th in the series. There's a lot of bootlegs.
Oh,
They
okay,
cover
there you
areas.
go.
This is
Okay.
from the
he? He's been around.
the album Self Portrait to New Morning. It's about a year.
Wow.
And in that year, he hung out with George Harrison, did some things.
Right. That's the whole
He
Hare
did,
Krishna's thing. He's doing
Yeah, he wrote,
India and other places.
yeah, he wrote
Harrison was going.
Wrote a song about. I think it was called "Hitting Groupies." I thought that'd be funny.
Hitting-
Hear George
hitting-
Harrison, Bob Dylan, talking about hitting groupies. I don't know. That's wrong. No, actually, people don't realize this, but Bob Dylan wrote the theme song for the Chia Pet commercial.
That is not right.
Chia. That was Dylan, man. That was
The Chia Pet. People don't even know what a Chia Pet is, really. I mean, it's too, things kind of move along.
So you can get you can get dirty Chia Pets. I don't know if you know this.
No, what?
You can go on.
Oh, yeah,
Adult
okay, I
Chia
got
Pets,
it.
you
Yeah,
can get
I can
them.
imagine. I don't know,
You
but I
can.
can imagine. Jeez almighty.
But I'm just saying, I think that when Dylan wrote the Chia Pet song, I'm just saying, it was, a lot of people had got a lot of ways. He went with the chia, and I think that's like, there's, like stuttering, like with My Generation with the Who. Like that was a bit of a genius.
Yeah.
I think he may have
Yeah.
stole that,
Could have.
talking about My
My
Generation.
Generation. That was one of their first songs, too.
It's like,
First hits.
like that. They did that. That's got a bass solo by the Ox, John Entwistle. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
You played the bass, so you
Yeah,
know about.
yeah,
You like
yeah.
the Ox, Entwistle?
Yeah, Entwistle was really good. It had a very unique
Yeah.
style.
I like that guy.
All fingers.
All fingers.
All fingers.
Yeah, I like that. What about the bass player for Gorguts?
Don't know him
He,
yet.
uses-
Evidently,
he uses
does
a
he have a
human-
bass? Does he?
It's a-
What is he?
No, he uses a
Does he have a
human spine.
chainsaw? What has he
just
got? What has he got?
He just took some wires, some high tension wires, strung it across a human severed.
Okay.
Thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how Gorguts roll. These guys.
Man.
There's a famous line from when Motorhead. He was talking to Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. You know that guy?
Right. Yep.
And Grohl was asking him. He said, "Well, when he formed Motorhead, the guy from Motorhead formed his
Right.
band. He said he wanted to form a band that if they moved next door to you, your lawn would die. That's what he said for. I want the kind of band that if I move next door to you, your lawn will die.
The green grass goes brown.
Goes
the
brown,
whole
yeah.
thing just like
So
wow. I don't know what we were going to talk about now because my head is kind of spinning around all in
Chia
various
Pets,
ways.
Taliban, cosmic horror.
Cosmic horror makes. I mean, what? What? Okay. Next show, Cosmic Horror, not this one. All right.
Cosmic
so
Horror.
Taliban. Where are we going on Taliban again? I mean, what is where are we? What? Give me some segment. There's some
How about
moments here.
why would someone lose themselves in an ideological system? Why would someone abandon the supposed freedoms of the United States to embrace an ideological system that seems to eschew all freedoms?
Yes, by the way, yes. And,
Why would you toss it all the freedom, all the trappings of America for that, whatever that be? I would assume you no longer having running water. Your women are covered in
Right.
from head to toe.
Women not allowed to read, to
not
talk,
allowed
or
to
do
read.
anything else. Throw acid on them, stone people to death if
You
they
can
go. I
stone
mean,
people?
come on.
I'm off. Stoning people isn't such a bad thing.
That's it. Hello? Are you coming in? You're going to have to be very quiet.
No, you don't.
Yes, she does.
Really?
Believe
She's
me.
very-
Yeah.
she's very loud?
She starts dancing. And
Oh, okay, okay,
screaming
yeah.
on top of her voice.
Anything to keep.
All right, Daniel. Lord, say a little prayer here, and we got to. This kind of thing is going to go. Quiet in studio.
All right.
Are you gonna do the intro?
I'm gonna try.
All right, let's do it. Hey, test is on.
Ready?
Mics are good.
Mics are good.
All right, we're at your
Audio
command.
is good.
Listen, I have no idea what's about to happen, so that's like every other show.
Okay. All right. Recording it.
Hold up. What? Why is that door opening?
Who was that guy?
Can somebody lock that door, please? Just lock it.
Who was that guy? Who was that guy?
Who's that?
Ben?
Hey, Ben. Okay.
I don't know that
All
guy.
right, thanks, man.
Who's Ben?
Ben Truitt. Now, he wrote, has written a drama,
All
a
right.
series, six episodes. Quiet on the set? Why about in the studio? What are you talking about? No quiet on the set?
Well, the studio is part of the
Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay.
I have no idea what's about to happen.
Okay. Recording in 5, 4, 3.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Got Therapy. I'm Michael Baltimore here with Dr. Dan Rose, the Executive Director of the Counseling Center here at Columbus State University, and we welcome you to our Got Therapy show.
See the new intro. That's the War
Yeah.
and Peace of intros. That took like 3 hours.
It
Am
was
I
a
wrong?
long- it was
3
a long
hours and
intro,
12. It was a
but
mini.
there's-
That's the Thornbirds.
There's some
Oh,
music, and you
are we
might want
Thornbirds?
to put another band or another type of music to that intro
Gore
because we
Guts.
had that conversation just Gore Guts.
It's a new
Gore
band, Gore
Guts.
Guts. If you like your death metal, it's a progressive death metal band.
You know, we might go with that next time, but right now we're
I like some. We
have
should
what
do
we
some
have.
music. We should. What would that?
Well, I think we need a music show.
something. Or how about music for the intro? Could you get in trouble if you just steal somebody?
Well, yeah. Well, you have to be careful of copyright and license fees and ASCAP
okay. I
and
hate
BMI and a
that.
lot
What
of
did you
other
say?
things
Did
you got to do.
A what cat?
ASCAP. This is
What you call me?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah. Same to you, pal. All right. So
I have never been called that before. A hat.
you have been called a lot of things,
Yeah,
my
yeah, but
friend.
not-
So this is shouldn't be unusual to you. All right. So today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about the beliefs that people hold and why they may attend to and move away from the freedoms.
That's a good way to
and there-
spin
and
that.
in there. Yeah, I was trying to give it a
Because
little
really
bit of
what
spin
happened, because the idea
you were
came
talking
in-
about Taliban
Yeah,
earlier.
as I
We
was
were talking about
leaving
that.
my office, somebody said, "Why don't
Yes.
you talk about why would someone leave America and embrace the Taliban?" And
Right. I mean,
that
that's
was a
kind of a
question.
good question. Probably a lot of us out there in our audience and around here, me particularly, but don't really understand why you would leave those freedoms and become
Clean
into
towels.
this. Clean towels.
If anybody can promise that I can get, clean towels, I think
don't- I don't think
I
so.
think that was-
I don't think so. I think there's more to it. This belief
Clean
system.
towels.
Why is a person attracted? All right, so the person asked you that question right before you came over for our show today in the studio. So
Which it's interesting because-
what thoughts went on for you after
Well, first,
that question
at the
came up?
moment, and this is true. This is a true story.
All right.
They asked that question while I was in the midst of describing for them what I remember, the smell of a Vienna, when you open a can of Vienna sausages.
Right.
You know that when you first open, the smell
Yes.
of Vienna sausages. I was sort of talking about that and what that experience is like. And at that moment, I think they wanted me to. That's when they asked the question.
Now, all right, let's work on that just a minute
Okay.
because that sounded like that they wanted to either distract you,
I
move
think
away
they did,
from it. They
because
couldn't.
I
They
don't
didn't
think
want to go
Vienna
there.
sausages. But see, I'm a vegetarian, and I have
Okay.
not had meat in 20-something years. We're going to 25 years.
years.
25 years, no meat.
Excellent. All right, that's
So,
good. That's a good thing.
25 years of moral
thing.
superiority.
Yes,
Makes me,
absolutely. We hear about those guys who are vegetarian and vegans looking down on the rest of us there.
do.
They love their animals, the human beings, not so much. But, all right, so,
Okay.
but 20 years, you've been there.
25.
25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, but can you tell us a little bit about how you got to the conversation about the smell of the Vienna sausage? I mean, what led up to that? Because we're coming midway into
Well, do you
that.
ever have phantom smells? Like you're in the midst of a conversation. And there's a wonderful book from the 50s by Theodore Reich called,
Okay.
what did he call it? He has a book called, his famous book is called Listening with the Third Ear, which even
Okay.
though it's like 100 years old, it's still worth
Right.
listening because it's good. But he talked about how that he thought that if you have a bit of a melody that crosses your mind, or an image or a smell, that it could be an act of unconscious processing, or
Okay.
thinking about something, or feeling something that may be relevant to the situation. So if you have a phantom smell, like if in the middle of talking to someone you suddenly remember the smell of Vienna sausages,
Okay.
and then you might then say, okay, well, I will allow myself to experience this, then I will apprehend this moment,
Right.
and I'll begin to allow myself to free associate. What comes to my mind when I think of Vienna sausages? And for me, what brought me to that is remembering my father eating Vienna sausages, remembering it sort of as something the family
Yeah,
did. while
taking back in time in
Yeah.
the past and of experience that you've been through.
gathering
Yeah.
around, watching, watching the Beverly Hillbillies. I don't know what we watch, but
Right, all right.
that's back
Back
then.
in that
That's
time,
back
yeah.
then, yeah.
Oh, no, that's
and
probably a good
and
choice
so
anyway.
so that phantom memory, if I allow myself to hold on to it, may say something about the present, and then I rewind to the back and I say, rewind to the present? How does this past experience relevant to the present? And it might be, because in that moment I could be, I may want, because of maybe the conversation I'm having generates some anxiety. So I literally take myself back to the warm environs of my family home. I regress myself where I am in the care of father and mother. I go back to a family systems point that I pull from that may in some way assuage current anxiety.
Right. Lower that
That could be what
anxiety
happens,
level.
right?
All right. And so that conversation then, but the other person
What, at Taliban?
went to the Taliban. Well, like, why? I mean, was that sort of free formed?
Well-
Was that a free association for them, perhaps, or was there anything else
suspect a
that
couple
connected
things.
that? It
I think
sounds
that
really
it may have been an
non sequitur.
association to my facial hair.
Could
and fact
could be. We
that at
talked
that
a lot
moment,
about that on this.
maybe if, and again, I think from an American perspective, and I don't really want to. Can you say I don't want to knock on the Taliban? I guess you can say that. I want to be politically correct enough not to knock on the Taliban. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're probably free either way. on
Okay,
this
okay,
right now.
very
Yeah,
good.
so I would
But
say
I don't want to offend any Talibanners out there. Go fighting.
no, that's probably not where you want to go.
Okay.
We've had this conversation.
Okay, yeah,
before,
sure.
so
We got okay. I'm not knocking the Taliban, but if that's
I
your
think you're
gig.
free to knock the
Okay.
Taliban actually on this.
You
one,
can't knock the Taliban.
You shouldn't be worried too much about that. But go ahead and say what you need to say. About
I
the
wonder
Taliban.
if in that minute that they were feeling that her associations may be that my talking about Vienna sausages and the smell may have been a bit oppressive, and I wonder if there was something
Okay,
Taliban-esque
Now
in
that
what I
makes
was doing.
oppressive
and she was,
in some
so,
way,
So in her
something
mind,
that-
this is an oppressive moment.
Right.
Not oppressive. That's like something with
Yeah,
Oprah.
that would be somewhere else. But and so that might have
Oppressive.
been from that person's perspective a
And
way
so
to kind of stop
the
things a
Taliban
little bit
came
there.
into their mind, and they were like, so notice how there's a collision, a dance of subjectivities that might occur in that moment.
Like-
And on one level it sounds silly, but it shows the symphonic sophistication and complexities of two subjectivities in motion, the way in which two subjectivities influence each other and generate these sorts of moments, man.
Right. And then what will happen is you have to make a choice of whether you're going to follow that with the person's lead, their question, and you're going to start responding in that way, or you're going to stay with the Vienna sausage or wherever else you might want to go in order to maybe avoid that. So there's this interplay back and forth.
So there is, and your capacity to be able to be in that fluid moment, both participant and observer. And it's very important because from a therapeutic perspective, if I were in session and suddenly I started thinking about Vienna sausages,
Right.
I would want to allow myself to be a participant in the presence of another subjectivity, allow them to affect me in some way, but I'd also want to be an observer. And so
Right.
part of the training in becoming a therapist is to be, you sort of train the observer part to also be present, that I can be in the moment, but at the same time the capacity to be able to also allow myself a reflective function.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about having one foot in the stream, one foot on the
There
bank.
you go, that's it,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
We talked about that at one point too. Sort of observe and also be a participant in the process
Very
as
important.
well, and let that influence happen
And-
so that you can come out with
and
something that's therapeutic.
What's very trendy right now is this notion of mindfulness. I do a lot of work with soldiers in the private practice thing there. And one of the things that mindfulness does, and outcome research, particularly on psychodynamics, psychotherapy, show that there is an increased capacity for reflective function. And to be mindful is to say, right now, you create that observer status to be able to say, what am I feeling? You do what the Buddhists call the sacred pause. You breathe and
Right.
you ask, what is this I'm feeling? What might I do with it? So as opposed to being purely, and we call this, there's a term for this in the attachment theory literature. If you are embedded, you are the current context in whatever system you're currently in. You are completely lost in it. You are embedded in it.
Right.
Your feelings have you. You do not have your feelings. But if you allow yourself the capacity for
Interesting
some
thought.
mindfulness, and you begin to train yourself to be able to think and allow yourself that observer as well as participant status, you can begin to do something different with the feelings that you have.
Okay.
A lot of people who have
Makes sense to me.
PTSD, for instance, they have their nervous systems have been wired to be able to deal with the situations of war, and so they are this. And part of mindfulness training is to get them to be able to realize that when they're this, they can do this. I don't know.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And have a choice in the matter. Now back to the question though, the Taliban, and
Taliban.
having this this move from a free society and having the freedoms that we enjoy here in this country, perhaps to a very restricted environment with lots of rules and
Eric Fromm.
oppressive kind of thing. Why does the question was why?
Eric Fromm. You know Eric Fromm? He has
Yes.
a wonderful book, and the book is called Escape from Freedom.
Escape from freedom.
There is a way in which becoming disembedded, becoming mindful of the world around you, carries with it the weight of responsibility. And Fromm, being sort of an existentialist, would say that we run from freedom, that there is something, a very strict and ideologically pure religious or political system affords you an escape from freedom, right?
Makes sense.
It allows you to be embedded in such a way to not bear the weight of observer status. You literally are in the midst of something, and that something is you can be lost in it in a way. And I think that in some way there is something to be said for those sorts
There's a
of
lot of responsibility that comes with freedom, as people have talked about
I'll
before.
say.
This notion that we have to manage this, but if you're in that restricted environment, the rules are set for you. You have someone telling you what to do. There's less of that responsibility, and some people may gravitate toward that.
But one of my areas of interest, and we've talked about maybe my coming on one of the other shows, maybe not, is that a religious or spiritual system affords you a worldview, allows you to be able to generate a narrative that allows you to sort of swim through life in a certain way. And all of us have it to a certain degree, implicit or explicit, they're there. But certain worldviews, there's this tension between science and religion, particularly, say, some young Earth creationists, for instance.
Right.
And I've always been fascinated by this dialogue between people from these two points of view, and the way in which, in the act of dialoguing, sort of like with my Vienna sausage can,
Right.
you have two subjectivities that shed light on each of the ideological presumptions in both camps. And it's just interesting.
Yeah, and so, by the way, when those two subjectives collide, is there accommodation for those? Is it one or the other? I mean, I assume you have to have this flow of this, for sometimes disjunctive thoughts from the subjective side from two individuals coming together, but how does that play out? I guess it could be it just stops and we move to the other, or some interplay between those kinds of subjective.
Well, I think
presentations.
that you could talk of a scale. There could be a complete rejection of the other. So in the presence of another subjectivity, for instance, if someone from the Taliban walked into the room, we being of we might reject even the possibility of dialogue with this individual. So he actually does not. There is a failure to mentalize. He is not something. We don't engage him in a way. He still affects us. There still is a way in which his mere presence generates something within us, so there is
Right.
a subjective tension. But it isn't a dialectic. And you go from there to something that engages minimal amount of dialectic to a full-on dialectic. And a full-on dialectic allows oneself the possibility of change. Therapy, for instance, if it's going well, regardless of theoretical model, is open. It generates a dialectic for the possibility of not just assimilation, accommodation from a
Right.
from a cognitive psychological perspective. And in accommodation, your worldview changes. So if the guy, a member from the Taliban, and we were wanting to do this, and we sort of suddenly gave him some fries, McDonald's fries. I don't know,
Right.
are you allowed to eat fries if you're in the Taliban?
I have no idea what the rules are on French
No,
fries or
or-
freedom fries
or
here in America. As
we
call
hand
them.
him a Miley Cyrus CD.
Yes. Now that one's not going to go over.
But if somehow the mere act of interacting with that Miley Cyrus, that the aesthetic experience of the Miley Cyrus CD might allow for not just an assimilation, which means he takes this and somehow places it with it as well without any changing at all. It could go an accommodation. He may suddenly throw off his garments. He may shave, and suddenly he might enter our ideological system as a result of
That's a theoretical position. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
By the way, have you seen that latest Miley Cyrus video where she's like?
We talked about that last.
Well, no, that was the
week,
thing.
yeah.
She has a video,
Yes.
and in the video, unless I'm wrong, at one point she
Yes.
licks a hammer. She licks. Am I wrong? You guys seen that?
Oh, we
she
talking to the
licks
crew
a
over
hammer.
there. Yeah, they seem to. They're. You just.
I don't know
woke them
about
up,
you
so
guys,
I don't know what's gonna. how
but
they
when
respond.
if someone, where I come from, if someone called you a hammer licker, those are fighting words.
That's
I'm just saying. If
All right, you know what I think you just did?
What?
We were illustrating that point where you bring in something and subjective, and I think we just collided there.
We did,
I
yeah.
don't
So
think there was
you
accommodation
were
or
suddenly-
assimilation, actually.
Well, if you're
Might be
suddenly thinking
rejection
of
on my
hammer
part over here.
licking,
I'm just saying.
you know, because I'm just
All right.
saying.
All right, but why? I mean, we do have Americans who have joined the Taliban. They have done.
That's where I think the question came from. We
Yeah.
have again, but there, there is a difficulty living within any ideological system, and I think right now there are people who are made afraid, who are confused, who are there are moral problematics. Miley Cyrus is a good example. We live in a culture that could produce a video of a young woman licking a hammer, and at some point she's actually on a wrecking ball naked. So you may look at that and you may say to yourself, I'm not sure if I want to be a part of that culture. Or probably, if we want to be psychoanalytic about this,
Oh yeah.
watching a young woman lick a hammer or cavort naked on a wrecking ball may stir in you feelings and thoughts that you have some conflict about.
Right.
And you may decide to literally flee from the culture that could produce those things into the safety of one that probably wouldn't produce that.
No, they wouldn't. As a matter of fact, they probably wouldn't. But yeah, it does bring up this notion that we have concerns about where our society is going that it would allow these kind of things and stretch.
We talked about that last time.
Bounds
There were
of
certain
limits
people that
so
say
far
that,
out. Yeah.
Miley Cyrus may she may have pushed Western civilization a little further toward destruction. Sort of like, at some
Right.
point the Romans had their own,
That's a
maybe the
concern.
Romans had their own Miley Cyrus. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know, but that's
Miley
an interesting.
Cyrus, Miley Cyruses or something.
Well, that empire crumbled in some
That's what I'm
way,
saying.
so
She
something
would be-
went down that way.
Now, you know what?
so-
My take on this is the opposite.
Okay. All right. Let's hear
That
it.
Miley Cyrus represents a dialectical move, and that there is something, and I think embedded, and this is so the Taliban have a problem with this.
Okay.
When we allowed for a level of discourse about sexuality, when we began to talk about it in a way that we didn't before, when we begin to allow women to have rights and to move in society in a different way, it generates tensions. And anything that does that, and the pendulum moves in one way. And in some ways, Miley Cyrus is the fact that she could do that is a reflection of how we have accommodated sexual expression, expression of women, and the Taliban. See, that's an example of where you've gone wrong.
Doesn't go over well with the
But
Taliban.
I
yes.
think our man Eric Fromm might say, and I might say that no, it is if it stopped there, you may be right. If Western civilization stopped at Miley Cyrus licking a hammer, you might say that this is a problem. But it doesn't stop. We're going to keep moving.
Yes.
And there will be dialogue around this Miley Cyrus event, and I think it moves us forward in some form or fashion.
Okay.
Even licking a hammer.
That's the argument that it
But
does move
don't
us
call someone a
forward in
hammer
some-
licker, because again, in some cultures, that would get you shot.
I don't think I'm going to ever use that term beyond this show.
You
Actually,
say, you lousy
Never-
hammer licker, you. You wouldn't want to.
Now
You
that
called me an
brought
ass
it up,
cap
I
earlier,
may rethink
and
that.
I don't know.
I don't really know. Well,
you?
now in the comment, the person that brought this question up to you about the Taliban and why would someone do that? Now, how did you end that conversation? Because this happened prior
Well,
to
I
your
was
coming
late, so
over.
I left.
So you just
I had to
broke
leave.
it
I
off
said,
at
you
that
know what,
point.
I'm gone. I have to be here. And
I'll get back to you on that
And
question.
I just found out that you can watch this show on Roku.
Yes, you can, as a matter of fact.
Anywhere on the planet, right?
Anywhere
It will be
that-
available. There are people in Finland who could watch this
We're
show.
working on getting it out of the United States, but there are 5 million Roku boxes out there in the United
5
States. We're
million
moving it
Roku
around
boxes.
countries, and so the little
I wanna
streaming
be a
with the web to
sensation.
the television is what that's all about. People, I said, hey, we're on Roku, and they go, what are you talking about? Well, it turns out that it's a little gadget that you connect to your wireless.
I
and
got one of them
internet
Rokus.
and plug into your TV and watch
Could
the
my
web.
mom watch this show?
Absolutely, and give you some feedback, I would imagine.
Probably disown me.
Yeah, probably would. It's too late now. But yeah, we are on Roku. We're on CSU.TV. We're at ColumbusState.tv on the web, and we're on Mediacom cable here in our local
Cinemax,
area.
late night?
No, we're not there
Okay.
yet, but we are moving to iTunes and a few other places, Ustream and places like that, so you can see these shows. No, right now on our schedule, this show is at 5 p.m. 6 p.m. every day.
Is that prime time?
That's prime time,
That
my
is?
friend, yes. So what you're saying are going out to one or two people or maybe thousands. We don't know just yet, but
Well, that's why
it's kind of interesting.
The next show, I'm going to say something. I'm going to do something really controversial.
Oh,
and that'll
no.
give us a chance.
I mean, what?
Yeah, well, like I
people
want to
who
say
watch
some
this
things like,
show are,
you know,
I don't know. They've
I
already
want to
seen you go there.
advocate something that's controversial, like, you know,
Yes, yes.
spanking the elderly. That's
Oh
it.
no,
How
no, we're
about that?
not.
I'm
Look,
going to advocate
I
a
need
position.
Censor. I'm going to ask Daniel to bleep this part out and then go. You know when they pop up that full screen that says technical difficulties and they play some elevator
Yeah, but if
music
I
in the background?
advocate,
I'm going to
you
have
know,
that going.
If I want to, if I want to,
You're not going to
you know,
get far with this. It's
it's
not.
like-
It's not. You're
it's
not
like,
going to move. There is no way.
Okay.
All right, so in charge of mental health, Dr. Dan Rose here at the Columbus State Counseling Center, and we are on Columbus State Television. We thank you for watching today. This has been another episode of Got Therapy. Tune in each week and hear Dr. Rose.